It may not be big, but Canada's annual inflation rate dipped to 6.8% in November, which is down from 6.9% in October. But unfortunately, consumers won't feel much relief due to higher food prices. Manisa Danabalan joins us live with the latest. Manisa, grocery prices jumped 11.4% from a year ago. So what exactly is the cause for that minor decline in overall inflation?
Well, Nicole, experts say the drop is mainly due to energy costs, but Canadians are still paying more to feed and house themselves.
Experts say gas prices have gone down, but the two necessities like food and shelter are really problematic.
Shelter costs are going up because of interest rates. More than half of mortgages have been impacted by what has happened to interest rates of late in this year. And food prices are still rising. In fact, if you compare November 2022 with November 2021, there's a huge difference.
Stephen Gordon, a professor of economics at Laval University, says it takes time for the rise in interest rates to impact inflation.
Roughly 18 months is what people think is how long it takes for increases in interest rates to take effect. The Bank of Canada only started in March, so we're not even halfway there. It's going to be a while, and it's not going to be pleasant. It never is. This is why it's always so important to keep inflation down, because getting inflation back down is such an unpleasant ordeal.
But Sylvain Charlebois says even though food inflation is expected to drop, food prices probably won't come down anytime soon.
That's the work of inflation in general. Wages are going up. The cost to do everything is going up. We were talking about packaging earlier this week, getting rid of plastics. Well, that comes also at a cost as well. And so some of these changes are really creating new benchmarks.
The report from Statistics Canada shows that bread, eggs, and dairy products were all higher last month compared to last year. Coffee and tea prices were up 16.8%. Edible fats and oils climbed 26%. Shahidul Islam says the high prices could have negative long-term effects on Canadians' health.
Sometimes if the inflation is only on food and not on other sectors, like for example, house rental, then they could divert some of their rental expenses to food. But at this time, what happens? The rental expenses are high, food prices are high, so they have no room for actually adjustment.
But BMO chief economist Douglas Porter says a recent report reveals that consumers haven't shied away from retail spending. So 2023 may be when Canadians start cutting back.
People have basically kept spending, and you know, they did have a lot of savings built up. And that's what's made the Bank of Canada's job a little bit tougher here. That you know, they've probably had to raise rates more than they wanted to get things to cool down, and basically ultimately to get Canadians to pull in their spending a little bit. Next year, I think we are going to see a little bit more restraint, and we are likely to see that inflation rate start to come down.
Economists suspect inflation will gradually come down in the next 6 months to 4 or 5%, but it might take longer to get down to 2%.
Porter suspects the Bank of Canada probably won't start cutting interest rates until the end of 2023 or 2024.